I just had the honor and pleasure of speaking with Deb Kass, who is a Brooklyn resident and world-renowned artist. And
Hello.
here is our conversation.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I forgot to put these in.
Well, your hair still looks fabulous. So
Thank you. Devere.
I think I'm wearing the most lipstick that I have in months,
I didn't.
which is about as much makeup as I ever wear, which, that's, my mother's much more coiffed than I am generally.
It's generational.
It's generational. So I am thrilled to be able to do this today. And it looks like you have a very large fish somewhere behind you. Is that, yes, a swordfish above?
Fake. Plastic.
Okay. I like it. So how are you on this dreary day?
Hanging in.
Hanging in, yeah. That seems to be the general consensus around the neighborhood. I guess I'll just go straight into questions. And most of the questions are things that you already saw. And if you have anything else that you want to say, big, feel free at any time. But when did you know that you were meant to be an artist? Because obviously you were meant to be an artist, but did
Yeah, I somehow thought this when I was 5. I don't really know why. I don't know. It's not like I knew any artists. I didn't. My best friend's mother was the art teacher in elementary school, and she lived one door down. And, so I was there all the time making stuff, but I have no idea where it came from, since really it wasn't part of any vocabulary. I must have heard it somewhere. I just don't know really where.
So, but it's been just in your nature, kind of, nature versus nurture. It was there.
Definitely not nurture. It had to be nature.
So, sort of expanding on that, what is kind of your favorite medium? Do you have a favorite medium?
Well, I'm a painter. I mean, I've always been a painter. So, painters can kind of do everything else. Like, they can take really good photographs and make really great sculptures, but photographers and sculptors can't really paint.
Right. Yeah.
It's just sort of the way it is. I don't know why. It just seems to be.
It's a language, it's kind of like from my friends in the food industry, when I used to, be in kitchens, and there would be the, Brazilians and the Mexicans, and the Brazilians, could speak fluently in the Portuguese and the Spanish didn't quite get the Portuguese. It's kind of everything sort of is a language. I'm terrible at languages.
Me too. I'm very bad at languages.
But I'm getting more used to English. I got Brooklynese down.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got Long Island.
So let's see. How would you say that Brooklyn or New York City influences your art, or
you can't be of my generation and not have New York influence your art, because all the mythology is around post-war New York painters and artists. So 100%. I mean, that was why I think most people, I don't want to speak for most people, but certainly for me and most people, for me, it was the mythology of of New York painting that got me into being an artist. Well, not really, not when I was 5, but it became,
Right.
the sustaining myth
Mm-hmm.
and the thing that fed me, as a youngster,
Mm-hmm.
looking for what this is. I think I want to do.
It's funny how influences happen. I mean, I know that you've known Mom forever. I don't know how well you knew my father, but he loved playing tennis and fencing. Those were his 2 sports, and he would play tennis with Basquiat's father. And so that's kind of how I knew of Basquiat. And then, when Basquiat became Basquiat, it was like this whole thing. I love the story. I mean, it's kind of sad, but I love how Basquiat, became this figure in New York, and that it was, a neighborhood. He was a neighborhood kid. Like, few years my senior, but he was a neighborhood kid. And that there have been some really great.
So was like Jonathan Lethem.
Yeah, well, Jonathan Letham's younger sister was like my best friend in high school, and she's also a wonderful writer, and her husband's a wonderful writer. She married a Castilian man, and so they were back here for a while, but now they're back in Spain, and so he's very well known, in Spain as a Castilian writer. But I don't think Mara's ever gotten the notoriety, and but I love Jonathan Letham's writing just because the part that's more sort of not. He started really as a science fiction. If you could put him into a genre, that would be the genre you would put him in. But he definitely has sort of expanded, and the well-known writings since The Motherless Brooklyn and Fortress of Solitude. Those so remind me of Borum Hill in the 70s.
Yeah, I bet.
That's like, yep. He got it right. Like, I remember that. I remember that I wasn't there in the 60s when Helen Buckler decided to coin our neighborhood as Borum Hill, but it was his neighbor from 2 doors down that invented Borum Hill. I mean, we were Gowanus, we were South Brooklyn, but yeah.
Right, so be.
And for years we were Brooklyn Heights vicinity. But now people want to live in Borum Hill. I like Borum Hill. I liked Red Hook.
Borum Hill.
There's so many great
Hold on.
neighborhood
I don't know.
Brooklyn things. Are you off, or you need to be off, or
no? It's just a crank call. I'm sure. I'm just declining it.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. And so skipping forward to today, the pandemic. How has it affected you? Has it affected your industry? I mean, I know that you had that show in Chicago.
It's still up.
It's still up.
I have a show. It's very slow. I don't think it's going to affect the art world the same way it affects everything else, which is bad. It's bad, and we'll see what happens. It's obviously not everybody's market or price point, but the economy is going to take the country, the economy, our health, everything's going to take a really long time to get better, and we're not at the bottom yet. So,
No.
it's, I'm sure, good for some people, but for me, it's just kind of a flat line. But I, you know, but I don't know. It's the same as everything else. I mean, as real estate goes, art goes.
Right.
So whatever is going on in real estate, is what's going on in the art world. Whatever going on in the market is a little slightly different. People have been on a hold. I mean, it's been a rough few years. Well, actually, I've had a really good year, but
You never know.
there's no way to generalize. Well, there is a way to generalize, which is the economy is going to take a long time to recover. Where the art world stands in that as sort of the biggest luxury item, we'll find out. But we're so in the beginning of all this, really. It's not the middle, it's still the beginning. It's the end of the beginning, maybe, with the election. Maybe this is the end of the beginning and the beginning of the middle. I don't know. But it's
I
not a
keep
good
on
situation.
saying,
It's
from
not
your
good
mouth
anywhere.
to God's ears. Like,
Well, I don't know. It's just a bad situation everywhere.
Yeah.
And of course, there are always some people who that's not the case. That was not the case for me this year, but next year is another story, and it's always year to year. So who knows?
Right.
Chicago, the show's great and getting attention, press, but traffic, for instance, it was aimed to open the night before an art fair, Chicago Expo. So there would have been representation at the fair and representation in the gallery. And typically in the gallery, they get 30,000 people that week, and that was not going to happen. That's just not happening. So, and now Chicago's on lockdown, not mandatory, but but people are calling, and there's interest, and there's definitely some stuff going on. But we'll see. Just it's not like any other show. It's not like any other time. There was no opening. I couldn't go.
Right.
I still can't go. We were talking about maybe first week in December, but now the lockdown. And I'm not sure I would have gotten on a plane anyway. So even though I think it's my best show, I'm not going to see it.
Oh.
So it's weird. It's just a weird time.
Yeah. So, and inspiration, I gotta ask, what was the inspiration for Yo-Oi? Like,
what are you editing this, or is this just gonna be? How are you doing this?
Unless there's something that you don't want me to, have in this, I'm just going to have it straight. But
Okay. I just want to know how long to take. Basically, all of this is based on a painting at MoMA, an Ed Ruscha painting that says "off," and I made a painting. I was standing in front of it, and I just thought "oi," and I made the painting "oi." Saw its reflection in a window, and the gallery window, and it said "yo." So I painted "yo," and then I had a chance to. I work with a print publisher who publishes also multiples sculpture, and we figured out we could see them both if it was actually 3D,
right,
on the side. So we made a 10 by 20 inch version. Well, the first version of the sculpture was 10 inches, about that big by about that big, like a tabletop. And basically, a few years later, Jane Walentis, may she rest in peace, and two trees, and Lisa Kim was the curator, and Lisa Kim said, do you want to do
Is Jane not with us?
No, she died a couple months ago, maybe 3.
Did not know.
Yeah, look it up. You can find it. I know, it's very sad. She was really great. She was a great girl. She really that
was. Carousel is, kind of awesome.
Well, Yo was kind of awesome, and she let me do
Yo
it. Yo
was very awesome.
And, so basically the curator, Lisa Kim, was her curator at the time, asked me to do a piece, and it is something I always wanted to see big, so it was kind of a no-brainer, make it 8 feet by 16 and a half, 17. And that's how it happened.
Mm-hmm. And it has become your most recognizable piece. I mean, it's kind of like the Campbell soup can for. um, so yeah, thank you for sharing that, and letting me know how it came about. Let's see.
Did you see this? Wait, I have to show you this. Somebody did this.
I love it.
I mean, it comes in handy. I mean, it
comes in very handy.
It comes in very handy. I mean, I don't know if you saw this. I did this for
nice
as a project
Yo-vote.
for the for the
That's good. I've been one of the admins for the Borum Hill at Large Facebook group, and I don't know if you know Adam Suerte from Brooklyn Tattoo, but he designed the like the Brooklyn Love. You'll see a lot of the masks that say Brooklyn Love, and I think he can do no wrong because he helped design the diplomas that we did for the neighborhood graduation for the high school kids who were only getting virtual graduations, and so he's kind of awesome. And he had done a Borum Hill at Large logo, and then he also had done like a I voted logo, and so we have that as the Borum Hill at Large like cover page thing now, which is fun.
Wait! I have to show you this. Oh wait, it went away.
Oh,
I have to show you my I voted. Well, I did one for New York Magazine. They did 12 artists on 4 separate covers that if you voted early, you could, it was like a sticker. They had a sticker inside. So I designed one for them. But I wanted to show you this. Oh yeah. So this was a different I voted.
Yo-vote. Nice.
Yeah. So
Let me
yeah,
see.
I mean, we do what we can. We did what we could.
If I can find you, it's not quite in Borum Hill, but there's wonderful graffiti on a building on Bond. I think it's like by DeGraw and Sackett. And so that's what I put the 2 logos on.
Cool.
Let me see if I can share this. So.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. That's fantastic. Oh my God, that's so good.
So I'll stop the share now. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we rallied.
So how do you keep body and soul together? What are the things that COVID like sanity things that
I didn't keep it together.
You didn't keep it together.
No, but it was more, it was a toss up. Was it the election or was it COVID? But
right.
It was really the election more than COVID. So basically during COVID, we were here in East Atlantic Beach in our bungalow. And what really kept me sane was, I'm quite sure, the negative ions, being on a barrier island in the oceans 5 houses away and walking. And it just, the air is just, and the light are just different here. And it's like a drug. And I'm pretty sure it's like it's not like I was ecstatic or anything, but I think it kept me sane.
That sounds like, I live in Borum Hill again now, but for 14 years, I lived in Red Hook, just a couple blocks away from Valentino Pier. And the light, it's different. Yeah,
and there's nothing like it, and it's the air is amazing. So I think that kept me somewhat sane. But the next lockdown, we're definitely going to be in Borum Hill. We're going to stay put.
Gotcha. And what keeps you like well, you're not in Boerum Hill right now, but what keeps you in Brooklyn? What keeps you a New Yorker? Like, what?
Oh, I couldn't live anywhere else. Where would I ever go? I'm a New Yorker. I wouldn't even, I don't want to live anywhere else.
You and me both.
My people are New Yorkers. They're not other people. And all I ever wanted to do was, all I've ever done is live in New York. I can't imagine being anywhere else. And Brooklyn, I mean, I was so happy to leave Tribeca and get to Brooklyn that Brooklyn, never leaving Brooklyn. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely never.
Gotcha. Well, and so since I am a real estate agent and I work with my mother, and you worked with my mother to buy your house, like, can you give me a little bit of that experience of what buying in Boerum Hill was like, and what drew you to your house? Was it the neighborhood? Was it the house? Was it aesthetic? Mom said that there was like some really horrible art in your basement. that,
I don't even. Oh, I forgot about that. That's right. I think we sold it at the Atlantic Antic.
Yes,
I
that's what she
forgot.
was saying.
I forgot that. Well, it's so long ago. It's like 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically, the first thing was we're moving to Brooklyn, and
Mhm.
for several reasons. I've been in Tribeca in my loft my entire adult life, from 25 to 50, and I
Mhm.
just knew I had to move once.
Right.
I'm not a mover. I'm a settler.
Mhm.
That's it. So I moved into my loft like December, 30 days out, September, April, June, and 31st, 1975, and I left 25 years later. So my sister and my nieces and brother-in-law all live in Brooklyn, and the first time my sister like left the village and moved into 135 Eastern Parkway to Turner Towers, I got out of the
Turner
subway.
Towers is kind of cool.
Yeah, but it was really funky then when she moved. It was like 35 years ago. But I got out of the subway from Chambers Street to Eastern Parkway, and I was like, I want to live in Brooklyn. The minute I got out of the subway, and it just took about 10 more years to get it together to do it. And it was definitely the aesthetics, because I didn't know anything about the neighborhoods. Patty went to Brooklyn College, and when I met her, lived in Carroll Gardens, but it was all Greek to me. I knew nothing. I'd never taken the train to Brooklyn. I didn't know from the F. I knew the AC, but only in the other direction, only north. I didn't ever need to know south, and I didn't know you go across the platform to get. None of all that was new. But we were looking around, and Patty said, "We're getting a 2-family house," and I said, "What's a 2-family house?" Because I had no. I mean, I was a loft person who,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this. So, and every place we looked at was basically the same house. And we looked from Prospect Heights. We looked with Sue. I guess I don't remember who else we looked with, but we saw several houses, and it kept being basically the same house. The 3-story with the rental either on the top or the bottom.
Right.
We thought 4-story. Well, we couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford the 4-story. The next story was just a bridge too far.
Right.
And it was that house. It was particularly that house. That was the one we really, really liked. I didn't know about Wyckoff Gardens and Gowanus. I didn't know anything about projects. I just liked the house. And we didn't get it, and then it came back. And we saw it with the apple tree in bloom in the, the cherry tree in the back. Definitely when you want to sell your house, when the cherry tree is blooming. It was so gorgeous. And that was it. We got the house. It came back.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is my feeling about love and real estate is it's karma. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And it was obviously meant to be. And we kept bidding on, literally, we had 3 bids, I think, and missed out on all of them. And then this one came back. And if I tell you, it's basically the same house, just on different blocks. And Boerum Hill ended up perfect because it was so close to Manhattan. And I didn't even know that, I just liked the house. And the potential in the garden, and Patty really liked the rental downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
It was obviously meant to. I mean, we've been there 16 years, which is almost impossible to believe, but we have been.
I think it's that whole staying power. My feeling, and I've bought one house in my life, and it was my Red Hook house, and that was before I was in real estate. That was before Sue was in real estate, I think. Yes, I think she was just getting into real estate. Um, I didn't buy it with investment purpose in mind. I bought it because I loved the house, I loved the neighborhood, and this was going to be my home. And that's what I try and tell people is, you can buy with and if you're an investor for investment property, of course you're looking at, the cap rate and blah 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 blah. But if you're looking at residential real estate, don't buy because you're going to be in the school district that buy because schools change, principals change, you get involved with a PTA, you can affect real change. Ooh, that's me. But anyway, if you love a space, that's what it's got to be. It's got to be about, what works for you. And
well, we knew we wanted a house. I lived in a small co-op. I didn't want to live in a co-op again. That was too problematic. Never lived in an apartment, so I would never think about an apartment. And it was really great to be in a house again. Like, I grew up in a house. It was great to be in a house. For me, it was great to have doors and rooms, which I didn't have in my loft for
since
25
Tribeca.
years. Yeah, it was just like the only door was the bathroom, and that was literally the only door in the place. It was just an open space, and it was fantastic to have rooms. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I really like 19th century architecture, and this house is like 1850-ish, and
Yeah.
technically Greek Revival, and I just love that time period. I mean, even my loft was from 1864, so
Right.
It's not like, it's just like the 19th century architecture is just, I love it, and it's just been great having a house. I mean, I love having a house. It's just so satisfying.
Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that that's the right place for you and for Patty, and that you'll be back in the hood once again.
We're in the hood. We're just coming back and forth all the time. I mean, that we were locked down. We were here for the lockdown,
Right.
and as soon as the lockdown stopped, or I had work to do, and we both did, so we were going back and forth. And then it's summer, and we're at the beach. That's one thing. So we're not here full time anymore. We're back in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. So where do you do your work? Do you have
Gowanus.
a studio? Gowanus?
Yeah, I've been in the same studio for 19 years.
Uh-huh.
On the 13th Street.
Okay. So, it's that's also another area that has this light. That area, of Gowanus has that great light that you kind of need.
It's amazing. It's a great space. I mean, it's the best.
Yeah.
I was really lucky to find it 19 years ago. I got it in December after 9/11 because my studio was in Bushwick, and suddenly it was, instead of 20 minutes from Tribeca, was 45. It was just too far.
Right.
And so I started looking for something closer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up there. Which was
first
great.
House that I had for sale that was my listing was in Bushwick.
Yeah, I'm a South Brooklyn type. I really prefer South Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any of that then. I just read I didn't know the difference between North and South Brooklyn when I was in Bushwick.
Right.
I'm not sure there was a difference. Well, of course there was, but that was 19 years ago,
Right.
20 years ago, really. So, because I was about to sign my second year lease and thought I got to get closer. It's just too far. And Gowanus that was a 14-minute drive from Tribeca. It was
Mm,
nothing. It was so close.
right.
So,
It's 20 years ago
so
today.
I think we were actually looking. What's 20 years ago today?
Oh, well, no, my mind goes in strange ways. And so I'm
Okay.
like, Sergeant
Well,
Pepper,
it's
taught the
not
band to
9/11,
play.
is it?
No.
Okay. So, I think we bought the house. We wanted that neighborhood because it was so close to Gowanus.
Mm-hmm.
And Park Slopes just seemed a little far away for all our business in New York and
Right.
all our stuff in Manhattan, which was constant till this. You
Yeah.
know, we were always in Manhattan, and Park Slope. We rented in Park Slope before we bought this house, and it was like, it's a little far.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I've lived in 2 Brooklyn neighborhoods in my life. Well, no, 3. I lived in, Fort Greene. That's where we first lived before, we moved to Gorham Hill. But I was really young when we left there. And, I figured that my folks had been urban pioneers, when they went to Fort Greene and then to Gorham Hill. So it was my turn, and that's why I bought in Red Hook. And, I bought in 99, and,
Wow.
When we had, ghetto Chinese and ghetto pizza. And when I say ghetto Chinese, that's with a, plexiglass, and now it's like gastronomic paradise down there. And but I went through from like the best public transportation in New York City to the worst.
That's why we didn't go to Red Hook. Was
Yeah.
the public transportation problem?
Yeah. So, but
Where are you now?
I am above Betty Bakery.
Aha, on Atlantic.
Yep. So who says you can't go home again?
You did.
I did. So.
And where's Sue?
Sue, again, who says you can't go home again? When Dad passed, like we just realized that this was too much space for her, but that I had a stepson that could use more space, and so we moved in here, and I knew that we wouldn't convince Mom that she needed to move unless she found something utterly charming. So guess what? I found her something utterly charming, and so she now lives in a co-op on Lafayette Avenue, like almost right around the corner from our first house on Adelphi Street.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So yeah. So it's a lovely, lovely apartment, and she has a spare room if she ever has my cousin Hannah come and visit or whatever. But it's more a size that is commiserate with her lifestyle now.
Right.
And this is commiserate with me and my husband and my stepson. now.
Gotcha.
So, I feel like I could talk to you forever, but like, you're very easy to talk to, and I appreciate that that you have become this neighborhood person, and that your views on Brooklyn and New York, and we're not out of the woods yet, but
Hardly.
you know,
But okay, send my love to Sue.
I will. I certainly will. Well,
It's been a
we'll have
pleasure,
this
a
up.
pleasure to talk to you.
I do have this recorded, and like I said, if there's anything, I can send it to you if there's anything you want me to cut out.
Fine. No.
Okay. Um, It's been a pleasure and an honor. And I look forward to seeing a Deb Kass, maybe Patty Cronin combo, something happening in New York post-pandemic. I would love to, go to the next show.
All right. Thank you very much. It's been fun to talk.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Okay. Have a good one.